I've been thinking a lot lately about what loops have I been trapped on my whole life? What kind of sick, twisted merry-go-round have I been riding over and over and over again as long as I can remember as I look back on my life? That is really what's on my mind today. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm frustrated. I am frustrated as I think about, as I think about, oh my God, look at the different chapters of my life. Look at all the different environments, all the different communities, societies, connections, roles that you've been playing throughout your life. Look at every season as a different chapter of the book of your life. And what kind of themes are you seeing playing out over and over and over again? What patterns, what loops in this wild labyrinth of your life are you seeing repeating? Where are you getting trapped in your own labyrinth? Where are you hitting the same walls over and over and over again? And yeah, it's incredibly frustrating to look back on your life and realize, oh my God, like this again? Am I really playing out the same story again? Same story, different people, different environment, but the same me and the same freaking narratives everywhere I go, everyone I connect with, every job I've ever had, every place I've ever moved, almost every connection that I seem to get myself into, every home that I've ever had. I personally end up feeling trapped over and over and over again. And not just trapped, I end up feeling like I'm dimming myself to fit in these loops. I'm dimming myself, I'm dimming my light, I'm dimming my intelligence, I'm dimming my talents, I'm dimming my voice, I'm muting my voice. I'm not sharing what's really on my mind, I'm not sharing how I really feel. I am getting lost in other people's smallness. I am getting lost in other people's loops. All the beliefs that they have about what's possible for them, about what's possible for the expansion of their lives. And more often than not, I find myself conforming to containers within this world, planet Earth. I have been conforming to containers no matter where I've gone. I've traveled to over 30 countries or more, living in Spain as I'm filming this video. But I think soon enough I'll be off somewhere else. And it hasn't mattered, honestly. The physical environments haven't mattered if my internal environment is still riding the same frickin' merry-go-round. Because that's what I have been seeing playing out over and over and over again throughout my life. And I ask myself, why? 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 Why am I still riding the same ride? Why am I still engaging with the same types of people? Why am I still feeling trapped and shrunken and small and unseen and unheard, practically invisible, over and over and over again? And I had a realization this morning. One of my first thoughts this morning was, why do you keep feeling small in your life? And my answer was, because you keep accepting it. You keep accepting the feeling of smallness in your life. You keep subconsciously choosing to keep yourself small. Why do you keep feeling unseen throughout your life? Why do you keep feeling unheard throughout your life? Why do you keep feeling trapped wherever you go? Because you are choosing connections that feel the same way about themselves. You are choosing environments containers, structures, roles in your life that can only expand to the level that you allow yourself to expand. And up until recently, you have been tolerating small containers, small-minded people, small-minded ways of thinking. You have been tolerating it still. You have been enduring it. You have been accepting it. I hate to admit that to myself. But yeah, you've been accepting it. You've been tolerating it. You've been enduring it. Why? Because that is all you've ever known. For most of your life, you have felt like a big fish in a small pond. You have felt like a lion amongst sheep. Because up until recently, it has felt safer to hide yourself amongst sheep. Why? Because sheep feel safe. Sheep seem gentle. Sheep don't seem threatening. Sheep are complacent with whatever's around them. They don't strive for more. They don't yearn for more. They stick with the herd. But all your life, deep down, there has always been this inner flame inside you that screams for more, that roars for more. Why? Because you have the spirit, you have the soul, you have the essence of a lion. You have the essence of a dragon. You have the strength, you have the power, you have the voice of a lion. Girl, you have it. You've known this about yourself your whole life, but most of your life, you've been surrounded, you've been contained in environments with people determined to keep you small, determined to keep your voice muted. Why? Because that's how they've chosen to live. That's what they believe is possible for themselves. They haven't found their voices yet. They don't believe they have a power within themselves yet, so they seek it externally. And when they sense the power that you innately carry, something inside them gets triggered. Something inside them says, uh-oh, we can't let her see that. We can't let her see this power that she carries, because she would be unstoppable. And that threatens the system. That threatens everything that our society has told us to believe. That we need to stay small, that we need to hide who we truly are, that we need to mute our voices, that we need to dim ourselves as much as possible, because it is not safe to shine, it is not safe to speak, it is not safe to share your talents. Most of my life, I've been surrounded by people with this way of thinking and shrinking myself into containers designed to hold sheep instead of lions. And I think there's a part of me that's been afraid to enter spaces where there are other lions, to enter spaces where there are people who dream big, who are bold, who are assertive, who have realized the power they carry and they're using it in this world. Because as long as I was playing small, I would always be threatened by those who were playing big. I would always be threatened and intimidated and insecure around those who have chosen to step into their lion essence, who have chosen to roar, to be loud, to be seen, to be heard, and really go for their ambitions. Because I was never taught that that was okay. I was never taught that that was safe. I was never shown by examples in my life that not only is that okay, it's possible, it's incredible, and it's how we as human beings are actually designed to live and exist in this world as lions, not as sheep. You know, there is this illusion of safety. There is this illusion of safety in the sense that, you know, a prison, I could argue a prison cell is safe. Why? On the surface, a prison cell is safe. It could be safe. No one from the outside can get in to touch you. No one from the outside can come in to bother you, to disrupt your energy, your space. If you spend your whole life, let's call it a dungeon, right? If you spend your whole life locked away in this dark dungeon where no one can reach you, no one can tell you what to do, no one's there to bother you, on the surface, you could say that's safe. That's safe. No one's going to come in and hurt you. You're locked away in a dungeon and that's it, right? But I've come to realize that most of my life, I have locked myself away in dungeons, in these comfortable prisons that maybe looked great on the surface. I had jobs that, on the surface sounded great, checked every box of what I thought I was looking for, had the status, had the paycheck, had the health insurance, had the accolades, had other intelligent, ambitious people around me. That seemed safe and it seemed exciting at first, but I always found myself limited in these comfortable prisons. There was always a wall in the labyrinth. There was always a wall I would hit over and over again. This wall would tell me, you've gone as far as you can go, and this is where it stops. There's no more room to grow. And that would be the frustration that I would hit over and over and over again on this frickin' merry-go-round on planet Earth. And I'm coming to realize that the only way to get off this merry-go-round is to stand as tall as I possibly can. Stand up on my own 2 feet and make the actual decision that I am getting off this ride once and for all. I am getting off this ride. I am tired of pretending to be a sheep. I am tired of surrounding myself with sheep and believing that I'm safe. One thing is to feel physical safety. Yeah, sheep are not threatening. Sheep are not going to hurt you. Sheep are not predators, They're gentle and sweet and soft. But on an emotional level, you're actually designed to be a lion, to be seen and heard and loud and assertive and go for what you want and go after the things you want. You're never going to be able to do that when you've surrounded yourself by sheep and when you've convinced yourself that you are just like them. When you're not. You're not. You are not born here to conform to the sheep. You are born here to be seen and heard as a lion. Claiming that for yourself, standing on your own 2 feet, and leaning into this inner energy, this inner power, and this strong voice that you've always carried, and recognizing that everyone who's ever tried to shrink you based on their perceived smallness, anyone who's ever tried to silence you based on their perceived mutedness, anyone who's ever tried to stop you from going for your dreams, from acting on your desires based on their own perceived stuckness, all of that's a lie. All of that's an illusion. All of that was designed to delay your desires, to block your blessings, to keep you blind from your true essence of a lion, of a dragon, to block you from recognizing the power that you've always carried. And when you finally realize what all of that distraction was designed to do, you get to stand on your own 2 feet and tell yourself and tell the world, no more. I'm getting off this merry-go-round once and for all. I'm done surrounding myself with sheep. I'm ready to find my other lions. I'm ready for more. I'm ready for more. I'm done with the smallness. I'm done with the stuckness. I'm done with the blindness. I'm done with the frustration. I am claiming my power, my life, my voice. I am claiming my desires. They are already mine. And I'm not going to let anybody stop me anymore. I'm not going to give in to the haters. I'm not going to give in to other people's lack mentality. I'm not giving in to the herd mentality. Just because they believe they're small doesn't mean that I have to. Because I see the lie now. I see the deception. None of us were designed to be small. We all have different roles to play in this world. We're all unique, incredible, creative beings made in the image of the divine. The divine is literally limitless. Limitless. So why has humanity placed so many invisible limits on itself? It just doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense to go against your true nature of power, of strength, of creativity, of intelligence, of your giftedness, of your light. It just doesn't make sense to dim this anymore. I'm getting off this merry-go-round. I am getting off this merry-go-round. I am so excited to find out what happens next. I would rather leave the familiarity of this comfortable prison that has been my life for who knows how long, the labyrinth of my life. I would rather leave the comfortable prison, the familiar frustration of feeling small and knowing that I'm capable of so much more. I would rather leave that and dive into the unknown, not having the certainty, not knowing where the money will come from every second of the day, not knowing what happens next, not knowing exactly what's in store. But I've got to go. I have to. I have to, because this comfortable prison can no longer contain me. And if you're still watching, it can no longer contain you either. So let's walk each other home. Let's get off this freaking merry-go-round together, step by step. If this message is resonating with you, please leave a comment. Let's come together in community on this beautiful digital platform. Leave a comment. Let's support each other and share your journeys. Let me know how this is resonating with you. What kind of comfortable prisons have you kept yourself trapped in? And what are you ready to let go of? And what are you desiring? What's calling to you? What's out there for you? You know, like, there's so much more beyond this tiny little prison, this tiny little dungeon. There's so much more out there waiting for you. You just have to claim it and find the courage to dive into the unknown more than staying in this frustrating smallness. You know what? Because we're done with that. We're done with that. If you're feeling this message, you know, you can leave an emoji in the comments if you don't know what else to say. Leave me a lion. Leave me a little lion emoji. A little lion emoji to say, yes, I claim this and I'm ready. I'm ready to step into my most powerful, lioness timeline. Because we're done with the smallness. We're done with being sheep. We're absolutely done with this. All right? I love you. If you want to join my newsletter, there are links in the description below. Would love to have you join my newsletter if you'd like more truth transmissions like this, more channeled messages, sacred storytelling, wisdom weaving. You can get all the juicy stuff that I only share with my newsletter. And if you're vibing with this message, if this has stirred something in you, if this has woken you up to claim more for your life, I'd also love to claim some new equipment. I'd love to claim some new equipment for the channel. I'd love to, invest more in myself, in a bigger, brighter life, in, better equipment to improve the quality of my videos, to open up even more possibilities for my brand. So I'd appreciate any kind of donation, any type of support. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. and want to get more messages like this. I am so grateful that you're here with me along this wild human journey. And keep flowing and growing, my friends. Let's walk each other home and come together in community in the comments. So I love you. I will see you in the next video. Bye.